Hey everyone, welcome to my review of Friendship, A24's new hilarious comedy that I think is the funniest movie of the year. And that statement does come with a few caveats for certain people with your different tastes in comedy. Friendship is full of cringe-worthy humor and broad swings that alternate the audience between laugh-out-loud funny gags to squirm-inducing awkward interactions between our central characters. It's cringe-inducing like when you watch an old sitcom and someone is maybe professing their love or talking crap about a character in the show and they're standing right behind them and you're like, oh no. Or that episode of Friends where Ross tried to hit on his cousin.
What the hell are you doing?
Say something clever.
There's more than a few times in the film where I felt that secondhand embarrassment where I had to hold my head when something cringy was happening on the screen, but that is the star of this movie's Tim Robbins' specialty. If you've seen anything he's done, he dwells in that awkwardness and that cringe-inducing behavior. And because of that, you will know if this comedy is your type of comedy that you like within the first 10 minutes of the film, because it does it right away and it just ramps up and gets more unhinged and more absurd as the movie goes. Tim Robbins plays Craig, who's befriended by his very charismatic neighbor played by Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd does an amazing job in this film, bringing all that charm that he always has in every movie he does, bringing it full force here. And their relationship is so dope. It's like a bromance that any dude could dream of until it turns for the worse. And Friendship is more than the challenges, the dips and falls, and the disasters that male friendships can turn into. It's a brilliant and effective exploration of toxic behavior that showcases how a lonely man can make a situation much worse by making the wrong decision every time, but even shows how one can overcome those challenges and be better. And it's also a surprisingly introspective film, almost entirely focusing on Craig, only revealing more about the other characters as he makes his interactions and mistakes with them. The way the movie goes, you don't really know much about Craig. You don't know why he's so socially awkward. We don't know why he always makes these wrong decisions. They never really narrate it in a way for you to get inside of his head. You just have to kind of read the performance by Tim Robinson, which is really good. But as the movie goes, we understand like what kind of person he is based on how the characters interact and describe him to his face in very clever ways. The film always positioned Craig as a sympathetic character, so it's really easy for me, and I'm pretty sure you, to root for him and want him to do better, but you do laugh as he makes the wrong decision every time. But I also felt like purposely that causes frustration with him in the film. Is like having that friendship, you having friendship through the character on the screen, where you're like, damn, I love you, I want you to do good, but you keep making the wrong decision and it's frustrating me to be like associated with you. And I think that is validated by how every other character showcases that same frustration you're probably feeling as you're watching the movie and try to hold them accountable. And that accountability is trying to be held by his son, his neighbors, his co-workers, even his wife, who's played by Kate Mara, who's a wonderful wife in this film and does a really good job. She had cancer and was on her 12-month anniversary, and she was showcasing that. It was a moment about her and her new freedom, how she's struggling with it and how it still feels like it may come back, and all these things that cancer patients go through even though their cancer is in recession. But Craig decides, because he's a narcissist, to make the moment about himself and talk about his ability in bed. It's a really funny moment. Immediately he gets this accountability because he has no reaction from everybody else in the group, but he doesn't understand why. That lack of self-awareness from Craig is not only why this movie is so funny, because it's so hilarious, like what's wrong with this guy, but also showcases why Craig and many men like him are lonely. These people are unhappy with their lives. You can see it throughout the movie with Craig. They're looking for attention from anybody that they can get it from so they can validate some feelings in them even though they don't like themselves, but also obsessed with other people that feel like are doing better but never see them as a person, only an object to fulfill some kind of fantasy in their head about what the life they want to have. And while I think this movie is really funny, really brilliant, and is very cleverly written, I think that one of the caveats I have, other than that this might not be your style of comedy, is that the movie's pacing and the length of the film can feel kind of like a slog and a drag towards the end of the movie. The movie's probably a little longer than it needed to be, but there's so many funny moments throughout, even in those moments where I was like, okay, this is going on for too long, that was making me laugh, that felt like it was worth it. And on all the cringe and laugh-worthy moments throughout the film, this film has an underlayer of a character study of a very lonely man with toxic behavior, toxic masculinity behavior, honestly, that's super unhappy with himself, his life, and is very unself-aware of what's going on and how other people feel. And the way they explore that is really, really dope when you can reflect on the movie after you're done laughing at everything that's going on, especially that absurd ending. If you can grab a bunch of friends and go check this movie out, I think you have a great time laughing about it and then talking about the film afterwards. I think maybe a couple years ago we had a string of really great comedies that came out back to back to back, starting with like Bottoms and No Hard Feelings and a bunch of other things that came out that year, and we kind of been dry when it comes to straight up comedies, and I think this is one of the best ones that we've gotten in a long time. So with that said, I'm gonna give Friendship a B. In the comments below, let me know what you think of Friendship, and the question of the day is, what is your favorite bromance in a movie that you have seen? Drop all those comments down below and let me know. And you can watch more of my content right now.